Gone are the days where us ladies need to suffer to look good. Comfort is key, and as a personal stylist, that is always my main focus when I work with a client. In today's video, I have 5 little tips for you, and I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of outfits as well that'll show you and prove to you that you can absolutely stay comfortable while still being stylish. Let's get stuck into it. One of the biggest problems many people run into when they are building outfits is to know which shoes work with which outfit. And I understand that is a jungle in itself. But when you then add to it that many of us have problem with our feet and feel we can only wear trainers, that doesn't make it any easier. However, I am here to tell you that there are other options on the market. We can wear more stylish shoes, still keeping the comfort in place, but they don't have to be trainers. Now, as a shoe addict myself, it's hard for me to say, but we do not need to have 20 pair of shoes. 2 to 3 good pair of shoes are all we need. You already have your trainers, so you already have that comfortable base. I want you now to consider which other shoes will work with the style that you have in your wardrobe, and then work towards investing in those shoes. Some of the shoes that have all the great support and all the flexibility and all that stuff can be a bit of an investment, and I understand that. But 2 to 3 pair of well invested in shoes are far better than just having no style, just wearing trainers, or having 50 pairs of shoes that you can't wear because they don't have the support. See what I mean? Now, I won't start mentioning any brands or names or anything like here because I think it's a very, very individual choice. But I want you to actively sit down and do a bit of research into which kind of shoes do you need, what do you need your shoes to do for you, and then research into see which company can deliver that. If, like me, you don't have a large budget to shop with, please know that an insole can often do the job. That is how I trained myself on wearing trainers for 2 years straight because of feet problem, going into more stylish options. I invested in a pair of fitted insoles and they weren't cheap. However, I'm then able to swap them from shoes to shoes, meaning I was able to start wearing more stylish shoes and get out of that rut of just wearing trainers. So many of you will say, but Marleen, 2 to 3 shoes, which shoe should I go for? And first up, I will say, I always recommend wearing a pointy toe, especially if you are an apple shape, loving the wide leg trousers. It's just sophisticated, it looks amazing. However, if you cannot cope with a pointy toe, I would suggest you go for an almond toe. What I would suggest that you stay away from is the really round the toes on the shoes. I'm not saying there's not a place in a wardrobe for rounded toes, but if we are investing in shoes, go for something that's a little bit more elegant and sleek. An almond toe can absolutely do it. Now, I personally love myself a good ballerina shoe, but a ballerina shoe may not offer what you need. So I would suggest that you start with a pair of loafers. Loafers are stylish and elegant. They have been on the market for the past gazillion years. I bet you they're going to be on the market for the next gazillion years as well. As well as a loafer will have enough space for you to insert that insole. Next, I would say maybe consider a little boot or a little bootie. Personally, I love myself a good knee-high boot and I wear mine with everything. You can get some fantastic sock style ones that are very easy to slide on and off, and they have the stretch as well. And if you then add your insoles into them, you will have all the support that you need. Go for flats if you don't want a wee heel, but a little kitten heel can absolutely do the trick as well. It is trial and error, which is why I'm saying I'm not going to start naming brands and names for you and stuff. You have to do the research. But my point here is you can absolutely still be stylish and still stay comfortable in your shoes. And remember that the shoes is part of your accessories. They are the icing of the cake. They really do make or break an outfit. And sometimes it'll just be nice not having to wear the trainers, even though trainers have their place. One tiny little aspect of my wardrobe makes all the difference to my comfort level during the day. Sorry, the babies are awake, they're fighting over on the bed, just so you know what the noises in the background are. An elasticated waistband on my trousers. It doesn't have to be a full elasticated waistband, but often just a half elasticated on the back. It is such a tiny little feature, and yet it does so much for the comfort level. Especially when you stand, you sit, you move, having that elastication just allows the trousers to move with your body and not be so rigid. It is a feature I can't praise enough, and I never even realized it until I kind of looked in my wardrobe and realized why I love certain trousers more than other trousers, and it's all down to that elastication. Whether you are one shape or another shape, it doesn't really matter. Many pear shapes struggle with gaping waistbands. For many of us apple shapes, in order to get the trousers to fit around the tummy, we struggle with getting the waistband to actually sit comfortably on our body. The elastication takes care of the issue for all body shapes, which is fantastic. Many of you will also tell me, Marleen, I don't like wearing belts, and I often promote wearing belts here. I love my belts. Getting elasticated belts can fix that issue as well. Again, the elastication will allow the belt and the trousers to move with you as you move, when you sit down, you stand up, etc. So look for that tiny little feature. It makes such of a difference. Get something that has that elasticated waistband, be it the half elastication or the full elastication. It is such a comfortable feature and allows you to keep your style in place. This next one is a little bit more difficult to nail down. It is to wear flowy pieces. However, as an apple shape, I will always tell you to wear structured pieces. However, you can get a lot of structured pieces that are still flowy. The key is to get the right fit. You can easily look for pieces like the shirt that I'm wearing today. It is kind of flowy, but it's still structured. Does that make sense? It is nice and comfortable. It just hangs on the body, but the belt allows it to get that structure. I hope that makes sense. Equally, your wide leg trousers will have that flowy aspect of your outfit, but it's still very, very structured. Sorry, my little man is playing with his toy and there is no way of getting it off of him without upsetting him. Isn't that right, little man? But anyway, flowy bits that are still structured. I want you to think of a shirt, for instance. A shirt can be a nice flowy piece, but if you get one that has a little bit more structure to it, it will have a fitted aspect of it as well. Think of a blazer, for instance. A blazer that is sewn in at the waistband will still give you that structure, but still be nice and flowy. So I hope that this makes sense, but I want you to look for pieces that are nice and flowy. As I say, think wide leg trousers. Think pieces that can skim beautifully over your body. Just make sure that the pieces have that structure to them. The same goes for dresses. Dresses is a little bit easier to get that structure in while they're nice and flowy. They can still sit nice and loose on the body, but adding that structure maybe just with a belt can do the trick. It is one of the key aspects to keeping your wardrobe nice and comfortable while still having that style element. So think about pieces that are nice and flowy on your body. They're very nice and comfortable, but make sure to keep that structure in place. Maybe a belt could do it, or maybe it's just a seam or something like that. But just keep it in mind. It is absolutely possible to be comfortable while still being stylish. Fabrics play a huge part in our outfits. If you wear fabric that doesn't work for you and your lifestyle, it's going to show. You're going to be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, it's going to show in your outfits. It's going to affect your confidence. So it's very important that we pick the right fabrics in our outfits. Consider this: if you live somewhere really warm, you probably don't want to be wearing polyester. If you live somewhere really cold, you probably want to wear wool. Does that make sense? But there's a lot of fabrics choices in between. I have a dog attacking my foot. 1 second. Right. We'll go into air jail for a second, then you can attack me afterwards. Anyway, I was saying fabrics, they play a huge part in our outfit. The easiest way I can describe it to you, if you consider a pair of jeans. We all know those old-fashioned rigid jeans. There was no stretch in them whatsoever. They look fantastic when you were standing, but by God, if you try to sit down, it just wasn't working. Now, lucky enough, science have advanced and we are now getting jeans with a lot of stretch in them. Now, I personally prefer my jeans that are not even jeans. I have a pair of jeans and they're actually fabric. They look amazing. It's a good sturdy fabric, but they have a ton of stretch in them. So they look like jeans, but they are so comfortable. And I want you to look for fabrics that have, I'm not saying you always have to go for stretch, because sometimes the structure is more important than the stretch. But for some pieces, getting that fabric with the stretching really makes all the difference. So another aspect of being comfortable in your outfits is to make sure that the fabric is nice and comfortable on your body. As I say, don't wear polyester if you live somewhere that's really, really warm. Go for cotton and linen. And equally, if you live somewhere really cold, maybe consider a wool jumper, maybe some thermal underwear, nice beautiful cotton, but I don't even know what thermal underwear is made of. But do you see my point? So always consider the fabrics where you are living so it works not only for your lifestyle, but also be extremely comfortable on your body. The last thing on my list for today is to wear accessories. And you may wonder, wearing accessories, Marleen, how is that going to make me more comfortable? The thing is, you can have the most basic outfit of just a pair of trousers and a t-shirt, And the style element then comes in to the accessories. The necklace that you wear, the earrings that you wear, rings, bracelets, belts, shoes, handbags, all those things are the icing of the cake. They are the icing of the outfit, the finishing touches of your outfit. And that means you can take all the basic pieces that you have in your wardrobe that I assume that you are already very comfortable in, and then finish the outfit with the accessories. There's a lot to be said for even just adding a statement earring or a statement ring, or maybe even a brooch. Brooch are the hottest fashion at the moment. Try adding a brooch or something like that to a basic t-shirt. It can look so stylish. So if you want to stay in your good old comfortable clothes, just add that style element by considering all the accessories that you add to your outfit. Those are the 5 tips I have for you today on how to stay comfortable while still looking stylish. I hope, if nothing else, they were helpful for you, and I hope you got a bit of outfit inspiration with the outfits that I posted here on this screen. But that is it for today. If you're looking for links for anything I've shared with you today, you can check out my LTK shop on the LTK app. My usual handle, I'm just me, Marleen. But if you made it this far and chat through the ads, thank you so much, because that's how you help my channel. Will you do me one last favor for today and leave me a white heart in the comments? The hearts are simply just to let me and the algorithm know that you have made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.